Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new epic Doctor Who topic video for today. So for today's video, I've been talking to quite a few people since I've come back from Liverpool, and I kind of want to get this video out what's in my head at the moment from our conversation. So we were talking what godlike creatures could return to Doctor Who. So at the moment in the whole universe of Doctor Who with the 15th Doctor, aka Sutekh and Millie Gibson, we are diving into the pantheon, aka godlike creatures. So, me and a few people recently, the last 2 hours, were talking about all these godlike alien creatures that could return. And I'm thinking, if I did this video on it, and they said, yeah, of course I can, because they asked me for my total opinion. So I thought, right, I'll tell you what, instead of me sitting down spending literally like half an hour trying to type it, get it out of my head, I'll do this video about it. And they were okay with it. So this is what this video is for. Because I wasn't gonna do this video. I was literally just gonna do my Liverpool video and leave it as that until tomorrow when I do basically my video on my 5 favourite stories from each Doctor and basically do that in parts. So tomorrow will be part 1 and 2 with basically Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell combined into one. So that would be one video with the first and second Doctors, my favourite stories from them. Then part 2 will be basically the third and fourth Doctors. Then part 3 will be the 5th and 6th Doctors. Then part 7, the fourth part will be basically the 5th and 9th Doctors, because the 8th Doctor can't really do anything for TV wise. But I'm actually going to span in for the 14th Doctor of a meat types of media, like aka the comic, aka Liberation of the Daleks. So I might just do something for the 8th and War Doctors. So never mind. So anyway, recently today, since I've come back, we were basically talking about Doctor Who gods in this fantastic Doctor Who group on Instagram. And we were just there talking about Doctor Who gods, and really I was talking to somebody on Instagram who has made contact with me. I can't remember his name, sorry, so I will mention his Instagram picture up here. So if you want to check out his channel, his Instagram page, I will do it, because he absolutely does some great iconic Doctor Who pieces of media for all Doctor Who fans. So basically we were talking about Doctor Who gods, and of course the one on Instagram messaged me about the Trickster, where the other ones in the 4 group on Instagram, they're thinking, yeah, you know what, if you want to know what kind of gods I think that could come back, I'm gonna do this video, get it all out of my head, and basically what I basically think and stuff. So with everything going on with the Pantheon, and of course with the Legions of the Toymaker coming back from the 60th anniversary, aka the Giggle, and of course the Toymaker's child, aka Maestro, in the latest episode, The Devil's Cord, which is a great episode, and honestly it's one of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who for quite a long time. I mean, absolutely love it. I mean, my favourite for the 60th anniversary is the Giggle, so you can tell that The Devil's Cord is definitely going to be my favourite episode of the first season, or season 40 for Shooting Gatwa. And basically, and I got to do a big massive video about how I rank all the episodes and what I think of them all at the end of the series after the finale. So, talking about godlike creatures that could return. So, are you sitting comfortably? Good. And I will begin. So, creature number 1, the Wire. So the last time we saw the Wire is basically in the Idiot's Lantern back in season 28 or series 2 with the 10th Doctor, and of course she goes around stealing people's faces through TV screens and going, "Feed me, hungry, hungry, feed me." And of course the 10th Doctor trapped her inside an old VHS tape, and he says that's where she will be, and she'll be sitting and remaining in the TARDIS. But now it's been centuries and centuries for the Doctor, and really I kind of think that the Doctor would personally forget what's on this VHS tape in the TARDIS. So instead of plugging it into the TARDIS and finding out what it is, I really think he would have to go back to Earth, land basically in the 80s or 90s, put the VHS tape in, and out pops the Wire back into the human system, stealing people's faces. And the Doctor realizes what he's done, and he's got to think what he's going to do. What's he going to do? How is he going to get the Wire back into the VHS tape? What's he going to do to trick her? You know, I really think that would be an interesting story. So I really think that would be a great way to make the Wire to return. And then, of course, in second place, we have the Trickster. Yes, the Trickster. The actual one of the Pantheons. Now, the Trickster made his debut in the Sarah Jane Adventures to What Happened to Sarah Jane Smith. Then he returned to the Temptation of the Sarah Jane Smith in Series 2 of the Sarah Jane Adventures. And, of course, he returned in Series 3 in The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith. But basically, he hasn't been seen since Series 3 of the Sarah Jane Adventures. Now, I thought he was dead until the person I've just mentioned through Instagram said, what about if the Trickster returns? I'm like, but I thought he's dead. He goes, is there anything really dead in the lore of Doctor Who? Well, no, but I actually thought he died because Clyde hit him with a sap of Artron energy from the TARDIS. After Clyde got a big massive walloping in of the Artron energy, and of course he goes to the Trickster. I want to join the Pantheon, and of course he touches the hand, and the Trickster has the Artron energy running through his body. So I thought the Trickster was dead, but we were talking about what if the Trickster could return, and I think with everything going on with all these gods and stuff, the Trickster could return as the Pantheon, and he could actually be one of the legions of the Toymaker. So yeah, I really think that might be interesting to have to return if he actually returned. I didn't really think about this until he messaged me earlier on today, and I was like, yeah, it could actually return, you know. I actually thought he died. I thought he died and weren't going to come back, but it's been, what, 2009 since we last saw the Trickster, and it's now 2024, so nearly 15, coming up 14 years since we last saw the Trickster. Could he return? Who knows? You know, the Trickster was actually created by Russell T Davies, same as the Wire, so we could see the return of the Wire and the Trickster. Maybe in the same episode, maybe not, or maybe not at all. We just do not know. Then, talking about classic Who, the Doctor has fought so many gods in the classic era of Doctor Who. So, I'm going to talk about some of the gods I think that could return and basically cause havoc and become one of the legions to the Toymaker. So, first things first, the Master. Now, I don't mean the Time Lord version of the Master. I actually mean the Master from the world of imagination, of fiction, the land of imagination. When the TARDIS actually fell apart in the beginning of the, you know, the Mind Robber, and the TARDIS falls apart, and the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe end up going into this land of fiction. And of course, the Doctor ends up messing Jamie's face in it. Him and Zoe end up trapped in a sand jar until the Doctor gets her out, and then of course they come across the Master, which is a powerful entity who is actually using the human to do his little bidding for him. So I really think it would be a good way to have the return of the land of friction and basically have one of him as the legions to the Toymaker. So that would actually be quite interesting. Then of course, making a Time Lord like a god, and that has already happened in Doctor Who. We are talking about Mr. Omega. Now, Omega basically helped the Time Lords to create time travel until it was literally transported into a universe of antimatter. Now, antimatter and matter cannot mix together, because if we do, it will go into a big, massive meltdown and sap. So, after having like little bits of sap, what if Omega basically survives? Because the last time we saw Omega was basically in the 5th Doctor story, Arc of Infinity, where basically he was trying to get into our universe, divert his body from antimatter back into matter, and of course it was failing him, and of course the Doctor had to shoot Omega. But what if he still survived? What if a little part of him made it back into the universe of antimatter, and he's trying to bring back, he wants to come back, he wants revenge on the Doctor for shooting him, he wants the revenge on the Time Lords. But considering that everything's going on with the Time Lords at the moment, them being dead once again, yeah, thank you Christian North, and thank you Russell T Davies for keeping the Time Lords dead. I mean, I could actually think of so much stories we could do with the Time Lords, and I would actually like to write my own little Doctor Who fan-made series, and they basically have some work done on Gallifrey with the Time Lords, because I think there's so much that could be done with them. Not only do we have Classic Who for that, but we've got Big Finish basically still doing the lore of the Time Lords with the Time War and stories before the Time War, like in Gallifrey. So I really think there could be more done with that. So I would really like to see Omega return, find out Gallifrey's been destroyed, and basically he thinks it's the Doctor, and he wants to take revenge on the Doctor, because Omega is kind of like a god to the Time Lords. He helped them have the ability to travel through time and space. And then, of course, after that, I would like to see the return of Sutekh. Now, Sutekh is basically an Egyptian god who was basically trapped on Mars by his own people, the Urafs. But Sutekh was basically coming out free, like we see in the Pyramids of Mars, where he's there screaming, "I'm free!" And, of course, the Doctor basically created a time loop trap and basically trapped Sutekh in it. But Sutekh has later returned into the universe of Big Finish, like battling against the 7th Doctor in the very first box set with Billy Summerfield, and of course encountering the 4th Doctor and Leela in season 7 of the 4th Doctor Adventures for Big Finish. So if Sutekh can return to Big Finish, why not have him return to the whole TV side of Doctor Who? Let him battle against the 15th Doctor. Let the 15th Doctor kind of be terrified like he was of Maestro, because the thing about the episode about the Devil's Cause, it really reminds me a little bit of the Pyramids of Mars. The Pyramids of Mars. It really reminds me so much of that story, and basically I just see like a little bit of a connection. But instead of having Maestro, have the return of Sutekh, a fantastic Doctor Who villain from my favourite story from season 13. My favourite story from season 13, aka the Pyramids of Mars. Have the return of Sutekh. So, carrying on with basically the gods, you know, rambling and all through. So, in next place, I have to say, why not the Black Guardian? The Black Guardian is technically a god-like being. He is the ruler of darkness, and of course, he still has a vendetta against the Doctor. Now, the Doctor once stopped him from having his hand onto the key to time in his 4th incarnation. Then in the 5th incarnation, he basically hired Tarlo, aka a former companion to the Doctor, to try and kill the Doctor in his 5th incarnation. And of course, Tarlo basically throws him the little source of light and says, "Now you can have enlightenment!" Poof! And of course, the Guardian turned into fire. And what was said this though, Tarlo says, but he's dead, did he? No. As long as I'm around, there will always be a need for a Black Guardian. Not as long as there's a white. As long as there's the White Guardian, there will always be a Black Guardian. So why not have the return of the Black Guardian? Hey, come on, Russell. Bring back the Black Guardian. Make him part of the Toymaker's legions. Or could he be the one behind Ruby Sunday? The whole plot with Ruby Sunday basically being this fantastic little puzzle that we don't know about. What if it's the Black Guardian basically trying to make a trap for the Doctor after so many centuries? After battling with the 4th and 5th Doctor, he's been plotting and plotting and plotting. So yeah, let's have the return of the Black Guardian. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Well, take it in your vote. Do we have the return of the Black Guardian? I would love to see the return of the Black Guardian. And then, of course, in literally second to last place, we have the gods of Ragnarok. Basically from the greatest show in the galaxy. Now, the 7th Doctor defeated these gods of Ragnarok, as, of course, they were later mentioned in the giggle with basically the 15th Doctor and the 14th Doctor talking. It says, we fought the gods of Ragnarok, and we not even fought. Why the hell not? Why the hell? Why? Why? You know, I would love to see the return of the gods of Ragnarok. These fantastic psychic power godlike creatures that literally kidnap humans, basically hypnotizes them to do the circuit performance. Have the return of Psychic Circus. Basically have whatever the story was going through, make a sequel for it. Make a sequel to the greatest show in the galaxy. Have the return of the gods Ragnarok. Make them part of the Toymaker's legions as well. So that would be actually quite interesting. Absolutely quite interesting. Bring back the gods of Ragnarok from the greatest show in the galaxy from season 25. That would be actually quite interesting, and that would be quite good. And then, of course, in final place, Fenric. Fenric is one of the most powerful godlike creatures. The wolves of Fenric he created with Ace by basically having her being born, hating her mother, sapping her straight into Ice World because of a time storm in her bedroom. And then, of course, basically before Cybermen, before Daleks and all that. And, of course, she is now a wolf of Fenric because she created her own existence. And, of course, the Doctor basically manipulated the whole situation, making Ace lose her faith in him and basically having the Heatherfall King basically put himself into a gas chamber to try and defeat Fenric in the whole Chessmaster version of the 7th Doctor. But what if Fenric is still out there? Now, in the rules of Big Finish, the Fenric has returned and battled against the 7th Doctor once again. So why not in the TV series? Why don't we have the return of Fenric to battle against the 15th Doctor? Make him be the one that basically Maestro was so scared of, saying, what was he doing now? Why? And of course, the 15th Doctor's there thinking, what if the person she's most terrified of, and of course, the Toymaker, that the one he ran away from because he couldn't play the game with, what if it's Fenric itself? What if the whole powerful entity, godlike entity that can take over bodies to bodies, because we see it take over Dr. Johnson and we see it taking over the Russian captain? What if it's Fenric behind the whole master scheme of Ruby Sunday? What if it's Fenric, hey? What if he's trying to create a game for the Doctor that the Doctor doesn't know is return? What if that? What if that? What if it is the return of Fenric, the most powerful entity that the Seventh Doctor once thought he defeated? What if Fenric returns? He's returned in Big Finish against Seventh Doctor, so why not? Why can't we not have the return of Fenric? So what do you think about that? Do you think Fenric could be the one behind the whole scheme of Ruby Sunday? That would be actually quite interesting. Or maybe not. So that is basically the godlike creatures I think that could return into Doctor Who, with the whole new godlike powerful entities coming into it. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this list? Do you think either the Wire could return? Do you think the Trickster? Do you aka think the Master from the Land of Fiction? Do you think Sutekh? Do you think it could be Omega? Do you think basically the Black Guardian? Do you think it could be the gods of Ragnarok? Or do you think it could be Fenric? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know. Please do like, subscribe, and share. And join me for more awesome Doctor Who content.